Welcome back, friends. I recently had the great opportunity to interview candidates for the Metropolitan School District of North Posey County School Board. In this interview, I have the pleasure in speaking with Larry Kahle, who is seeking his first term to the board. I want to thank all participants for taking the time out of their day to speak with us. The interviews have been edited for sound levels only and will run each interview in its entirety. I hope you enjoy the interview. I know I learned a lot. Welcome back, friends. Today we're with Larry Kahle, who is a school board candidate for the Metropolitan School District of North Posey County. Larry, if you would, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, Zach, I have lived in New Harmony since I graduated from college in 1974. I taught at New Harmony High School until 1936. I'm sorry, for 36 years until 2010, and then I retired from teaching. And I started substitute teaching, and I was substitute teaching at North Posey, Mount Vernon, all around the area. And in 2014, I took the job as a varsity boys basketball coach at North Posey, and I coached up there for 4 years.
Nice. That's awesome. What got you interested in serving on the school board?
Well, the whole time when I was at New Harmony, I was the athletic director and did a lot of work with the school board and had some meetings with them that things went great. Sometimes they didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, but I always admired and thought that school board members had one of the toughest jobs of all in a school system. And I always said that when I retired, I was going to run for and try and become a member of a school board. A teacher that had taught with me when I first started teaching at New Harmony had done the same thing, and she'd been on the school board, and I always thought she was an excellent school board member because she knew a lot more about what was actually going on in the school than what sometimes other people might know.
What would be some of the skills or experiences that would qualify you to serve as a school board member?
Well, I think probably the thing that makes me stand out maybe from the others is I am a certified teacher. I have a master's degree in education, and I know a little bit about that. I have spent my entire life in schools from the time I was 6 years old until even now. I substitute teach now with the COVID the way it is. I haven't been substituting this year, but I plan on getting back to it soon. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. And I always felt when being able to get into education and being able to coach, and that I just had like a dream job. I felt like I never ever really worked. I spent time doing what I love to do, and part of that is working and educating and teaching kids.
Well, that's awesome. I think everybody wants a job like that.
Yeah.
What do you see as some of the current challenges or areas of concern facing public education in our state, in our district, and what do you think can be done about those?
Well, right now, probably the biggest thing that everybody's facing is the COVID virus, and how do you handle it? Do you go back to school, or do you do it virtual? What do you do? Kids learn, I think, without question, they'll learn better in the classroom than what they will anyplace else. But you want to make sure that they're safe when they're in that classroom too. And it's tough to know that, and it's such a new thing and such a scary disease that have just started out here. It's tough to make that decision. And I know I know our administration now is constantly updating themselves on this, trying to find out what's going on and what's the best thing, and what should you do and what shouldn't you do. And it's going to be a constant changing process, and where it goes, I think, is a big question right now. Other than that, I'd say the thing that really has me going with the whole process of education is I see teachers all the time leaving the profession.
Mm-hmm.
Good teachers that I know are good teachers that I've been in the classroom next door to and everything. Simply for the fact that with the state restrictions and everything that they put on schools and teachers aren't teaching anymore. They're filling out paperwork. They're doing other things that are just busy work, and they don't have the time to spend with those kids.
Mm-hmm.
The background of our education is the relationship between our teachers and our kids. And what I'd like to see is being able to strengthen that relationship and not take the teachers out of the class and have them do other things. Every single kid learns a different way. And a good teacher is going to try and reach all of those kids. You know, no one's good enough to reach every kid the way they can best learn, but to be able to help them get to that further, yes, I think that's what a good teacher does, and we're losing them. We're losing them every single year. And I'd like to do something, and I'd like to help some way, maybe get those restrictions relieved, and figuring out some way that our teachers here at North Posey, where we have some great teachers here, that they could. We allow them to spend more time and maybe get them some help with all of the other stuff that they have to do.
Absolutely. If elected to the school board, what would you make some of your top priorities for the school district to address?
Well, some of that, you know, it's hard to sit right here now and say, you know, it's real easy for people to stand back and say, well, if I was there, I'd have done this, or if I was there, I'd do that. And without absolutely swearing that what would happen, I'd tell you this, I would promise that I would get involved and engulfed in whatever the issue or whatever the situation might be, and try and learn as much about it, and then make the decision that I think is going to be best for the kids, and best for our corporation. I guess part of what I'd like to see the schools become, I guess, for lack of term, is more transparent. I've heard that comment from a lot of voters.
Sure.
In the last several weeks, they'd like to know what was going on. So I'd like to see them be a little bit more transparent. I'd like to see us put a little bit more emphasis on our teachers and what they're doing, because I think that's a backbone of the whole school corporation. I know we're going through some major changes here right now. Dr. Camp is getting ready to retire, and Mr. Galvin is coming in, and I've had the opportunity to know him before he was here, and have met him again once he's been back, and we have an outstanding man here coming in, and I think we've been very, very lucky at North Posey. We've had great administrators and great teachers, and I just like to contribute and help make their job easier and more successful as they go on.
Absolutely. That's awesome. You know, coming in to the political season, you know, there's a lot of negative talk all over the place, and I like to try to bring in some positives to everything. So what would you consider are some of the accomplishments that our district can be proud of?
Well, we're a 4-star school. We've had schools at every level, from our junior high to our grade schools, our high school, that have been 4-star schools. And if you look at other schools, if they make it once out of 8 or 9, even 15 years, it's quite an accomplishment. Where it seems that sometimes we have 2 or 3 of our 4 schools are there, and very seldom have we ever gone where we haven't had one there. So that's quite an accomplishment. We are a small school as far as the whole big scheme of things go, but we compete very, very well with the older schools in athletic competitions and academic competitions, especially. North Posey High School probably has, especially in this area of the state, the number one ag program around. And being a farming community, I've had the opportunity to substitute teach in Mr. Wassmer's class. And Mr. Wassmer just retired last year. Who set up a tremendous ag program, and I think that's maybe one of the strongest programs that we have that a lot of people don't even know. Oh, North Posey has an ag program. Yeah, we have one of the best around.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I'll let you have kind of the final word here. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to discuss?
Well, no, I think you've done a pretty good job of steering it into this. This is a different kind of year this year. We have the coronavirus. It's really affected the way everybody does everything. And our lives are different now, and I'm afraid they might be different for some time until all of this is figured out what we're going to do. And especially this year with the elections, you can't get out and shake hands. You can't go out and knock on doors. You can't do a lot of that stuff. And I'm using Facebook, and I'm using anything I can come up with to try and pass by word of mouth what's happening. And one of the things I have discovered from this, there are a lot of very, very good candidates for our school board positions here. And probably any one of them will do a great job. And I just want people to know what my situation is. I am a retired teacher. I don't have to do this. I can prop my feet up and not worry about it. But I've spent my life in education, and I want to continue to give time in education. And hopefully I get the opportunity to be a member of the school board and can make contributions that are going to help us grow.
All right. Well, Larry, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us, and I wish you good luck on your upcoming election.
Okay, well, thank you, Zach. I really appreciate you taking the time to put something like this together. That's excellent. Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.